What's going on? Peace and power be to all you. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. So today's topic is going to be about a sister whose name rang the bell to some people, and there are people who may not be familiar with her. Okay, so this is Women History Month. All right, so Women History Month is about commemorating the ladies who have done a tremendous work not only in America but throughout the diaspora and globally speaking, okay? Because when we get a lot of backlash for we didn't do this, we didn't do that, wooty wooty woo. Well, there's historical information to validate that, okay? Anyhow, so this one particular sister, she's just very proud of who she is, right? She not only was brought up in the Latino community, but also, being of African descent as well. And she bridged this gap between the whole issue with African Americans or just African descended people and Latino people, right? So because she identified herself as Afro Latino, right? I mean, she known by her history. She's very thorough. When I tell you she's thorough, she's real thorough. And we have to give credit to those Latino people. We have to give credit to them because they have done a tremendous job. They have played a part in the Black struggle as well. Okay. So we cannot sit up here and discredit, the Afro Latinos out there. Okay, they are part of that struggle too. They are part of Black culture. All right, whether we like it or not. As a matter of fact, a lot of them is more inclined with African spirituality than those of us, here in America that claims to be African American and whatnot. They are very inclined in African spirituality. Like you will find a lot of them practice leukemia, Santeria, just to name a few. They very inclined to that. Okay. But anyway, this particular sister is very I think she's a very powerful woman. And like I said, there are people that know about her and there's a lot of people that may not be familiar with her and she don't receive as much credit. All right. So, her thing is more like being involved in activism, um, history, and scholarship. That's her thing. So again, this is Rosa Clemente. So I want to get into a biography about her and I want to share some information. And I'm gonna try to share a little bit of video clip because I just want to share a little bit of video clip, all right? And I have to put up the whole copyright thing. So before I do that, all right, so all right then, so just give me a moment because you have to put up a copyright disclaimer. All right, so anyways, All right, anywho, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the copyright disclaimer for you guys before I post any videos on here, because it's only right. It's only fair. All right. So here's the copyright disclaimer. Let's try to see if I can blow it up. No, I can't even blow it up. All right, it says copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So that's always important to put that up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of her video clip, and then I'm going to get into who she is. Then we're going to go from there, all right? So this video is where she was speaking at the Department of Pan-African Studies at California State, okay? So I'm going to play a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go into who she is. Okay, so the channel come from Yamaya Pictures. Okay.
Have some really deep debates. I mean, the last year alone, the discourse within particularly the fifth element of hip hop, knowledge, culture, and politics around lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people, especially queer people of color, has been intense and good and bad. And when you look at most kind of art forms, right, where are you going to have a discussion about, like, I'm going to bring it up just for now, Melina, when Bell Hooks says Beyonce is a terrorist, like, who's going to unpack that but hip hop, right? Like, who's going to unpack Donald Sterling or any of this kind of stuff that's going down, but within, like, I think a hip hop space. So, you know, I'm a lover of hip hop. I'll defend it, but I'll also critique it just as hard. And I'll end with just showing you some campaigns that I've been part of. So this article, Who is Black? So I wrote this 12 years ago for the Final Call newspaper. And I'll just read it. Yesterday, an interesting thing happened to me. I was told I am not Black. The kicker for me was that when my friends stated that the island of Puerto Rico was not part of the African diaspora, I wanted to go back to my old school Bronx playground days and yell, "You said what about my mama?" After speaking to several friends, I found out that many Black Americans and Latinos agree with him. The miseducation of the Negro is still in effect. I am so tired of having to prove to others that I am Black, that my people are from the motherland, that Puerto Rico, along with Cuba, Panama, and the Dominican Republic, are part of the African diaspora. Do we forget that slave ships dropped off people all over the world, hence the word diaspora? The Atlantic slave trade brought Africans to Puerto Rico in the early 1500s. Some of the first slave rebellions took place on the island of Puerto Rico. Until 1866, Africanos on the island had to carry a libreta to move around the island, much like the passport system in apartheid South Africa. In Puerto Rico, you will find large communities of descendants of the Yoruba, Bambara, Wolof, and Mandingo people. Puerto Rican culture is inherently African. There are hundreds of books that will inform you, but that I do not need to read book after book to legitimize this thesis. All I need to do is go to Puerto Rico and look all around me. All I really have to do is look in the mirror every day. But really, all I have to do is look at the picture of my grandfather. I am often asked what I am, usually by African Americans who are lighter than me and by Latinos who are darker. To answer that question, I say now, I'm a Black Boricua, Black Rican, Puerto Rican. Almost always I'm questioning about why I choose to call myself Black over Latina, Spanish, or Hispanic. Let me break it down. I am not Spanish. Spanish is just another language I speak. I am not Hispanic. My ancestors are not descendants of Spain. And to be honest, I would never claim my rapist. Being Latino is not a cultural identity, but rather a political label that was enforced upon us. Being Puerto Rican is not a racial identity, but rather a cultural and national one. Being Black in America is my racial identity. Why do I have to consistently explain this to those who are so-called conscious? Is it because they might have a problem with their identity? My Blackness is one of the greatest powers I have. We live in a society that devalues Blackness all the time. I will not be devalued as a human being. Although many of us in activist circles are enlightened,
You know what? She said something that was very interesting, very intriguing. She said, "Why do I have to keep explaining myself to those in the so-called conscious circle about my blackness?" And I'm gonna get into that in a moment. But let's go ahead and look at her biography. Okay? Let's look at her biography. All right, and I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna give my personal, my personal thoughts on that. All right, so anyways, Rosa Clemente, okay, she was born on April the 18th of 1972. All right. She's an American community organizer, independent journalist, and hip hop activist. She was the vice presidential running mate of Green Party presidential candidate Cynthia McKinney in the 2008 U.S. presidential election. She was born in South Bronx, New York. She is a graduate of University of Albany and Cornell University. She is currently a doctoral student in the W.E.B. Du Bois Department of Afro American Studies of University of Massachusetts Amherst. Clemente's academic work has focused on research of national liberation struggles within the United States, with the specific focus on the Young Lords Party and the Black Liberation Army. While a student at SUNY Albany, she was president of the Albany State University Black Alliance and director of multicultural affairs for the Student Association at Cornell. She was a founding member of the La Voix Borican, a social political organization dedicated to supporting Puerto Rican political prisoners and the independence of Puerto Rico. All right. Clemente has written for Clamor Magazine, The Av Magazine, The Black World Today, The Final Call, and numerous websites. She has been a subject of articles in The Village Voice, The New York Times, Urban Latino, and The Source Magazine. She has appeared on CNN, MSNBC, C-SPAN, Democracy Now!, and Street Soldiers. Okay. In 2001, she was a youth representative at the United Nations World Conference Against Xenophobia, Racism, and Related Intolerance in South Africa. And in 2002, she was named by Red Eye Magazine as one of the top 50 hip hop activists to look out for. 1995, she developed Know Thyself Production, a full-service speaker bureau production company and media consulting service. She attended the 75th Golden Globe Awards in 2018 as a guest of Susan Sarandon. All right. Now, it says she's the vice presidential campaign, right? So in January 2008, Clemente was named the running mate of former Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. 3 days later, on July 12th, she was confirmed as the vice presidential nominee of the Green Party of the United States at their annual convention. A month later, Clemente and McKinney appeared at a number of events in Denver, Colorado, which was the site of the 2008 Democratic National Convention. On August 27th, Rosa Clemente spoke at an open debates rally organized by the Ralph Nader/Mac Gonzalez presidential campaign. On election day, McKinney and Clemente received 161,797 votes, which is 0.12% of the popular vote. Okay, so Clemente was raised as a Catholic and identified as an Afro Latina Puerto Rican. All right. All right, so that's that information about her. So you can find out more. If you want to check out the reference at the bottom of the page, you can do that as well. And you can look at the external link at the bottom. All right. So the sister also has her own website. So she has a website right here. It's called the Rosa Alicia Clemente. All right, this is her website. It's rosaclemente.net. So you want to check out more information, you just go on her website. You can look up more information and see what she talks about and what her whole agenda is, her purpose, and all of that. Okay. All right. Now there's this piece that she did on Ebony magazine. Okay, back in 2013. So let's go ahead and look into the Ebony magazine article. So right here, as I was playing in the video clip, she's talked about some of it, but I'm gonna read some of this information here as well. All right, so it says, I am Latino and Black. All right, October the 30th of 2013. Yesterday, interesting thing happened to me. I was told I am not Black. The kicker for me was when my friend stated that the island of Puerto Rico was not part of the African diaspora. I wanted to go back to the old school playground days and yell, you said what about my mama? But after speaking to several friends, I found out that many Black Americans and Latino agrees with him. The miseducation of the Negro is still in effect. I am so tired of having to prove to others that I am Black, that my people are from the motherland, that Puerto Rico, along with Cuba, Panama, and the Dominican Republic, are part of the African diaspora. And then we forget that the slave ship dropped off our people all over the world, hence the word diaspora. The Atlantic slave trade brought Africans to Puerto Rico in the early 1500s. Some of the first slave rebellions took place on the island of Puerto Rico. Until 1846, Africanos on the island had to carry a libreta to move around the island like the passbook system in apartheid South Africa. So in Puerto Rico, you will find large community of descendants of the Yoruba, Bambara, Wolof, and Mandingo people. Puerto Rican culture is inherently African culture. There are hundreds of books that will inform you, but I do not need to read book after book to legitimize this thesis. All I need to do is go to Puerto Rico and look around me. Damn, all I really have to do is look in the mirror every day. She says, I am often asked, what am I? Usually by blacks who are lighter than me and by Latinos as who are darker than me. To answer the $100 million question, I am a black Boricua, black Rican, Puerto Ricana, Puerto Ricana. Almost always I am questioned about why I choose to call myself Black over Latina, Spanish, Hispanic. Let me break it down. I am Spanish. I am not Spanish. Spanish is just another language I speak. I am not a Hispanic. My ancestors are not descendants of Spain, but descendants of Africa. I define my existence by race and land. Borican is the indigenous name of the island of Puerto Rico. Being Latino is not a cultural identity, but rather a political one. Being Puerto Rican is not a racial identity, but rather a cultural and national one. Being Black is my racial identity. All right. Oh, okay. All right. So that's that article piece. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and give my thoughts and commentary on this. Okay. I'm going to probably spend about 10 minutes speaking on this. Somebody like Rosa Clemente, who's very thorough and knowledgeable when it comes to knowing about African history. Now, I have followed this woman for years, okay? I followed her since the day that I think she was on the episode with what's the brother's name? Jeff Johnson. I think that's his name, Jeff Johnson. When he did the whole thing about hip hop and he had all the rappers on there. He had T.I., Nelly, and Master P, and he had some critics on there. He had Dr. Eric Dyson or Dr. Michael Dyson, whatever his name is, shit. And Cornell West, he had Cornell West on there. And then he had the other guy who was a critic, but he passed away like not too long ago. So Rosa Clemente happened to be on there. I remember. And ever since then, I follow her. I follow her work. I follow her the things that she was saying. And I thought it was very intriguing because I ain't never really heard too many somebody that, that is Latino identify themselves as being black. For the most part, I haven't heard too much about that. And you know what's so funny? Those who are black, you wouldn't even know that they are Latino. They are like, especially the ones in New York, you wouldn't even know they have Latino in them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you an example, like AZ, the rapper AZ, he's Dominican. Um, Fabulous is Dominican. And who else is Dominican? There's another one. What was that? There was the girl that played Zaria off of Parenthood. I didn't even know she was Dominican. So it's so funny because when you see certain Latino people, right, you would think that they supposed to look like, they supposed to look Spanish. They have to have that Spanish feature. They supposed to look like Jennifer Lopez or Rosa. What's her name? Rosie. What's her name? Rosie Perez. Is that her name? Yeah, Rosie Perez. So when we think of that, we think of Jennifer Lopez, Rosie Perez, and Shakira. Shakira is the singer from South America, right? Okay, pretty talented woman. That's what we think. We don't think about, too many people out there dark skin or whatnot. When we see Jocelyn from Love and Hip Hop, she's Puerto Rican, Afro Puerto Rican. My girl Amira La Negra, Afro Dominican sister, very very proud sister, very outspoken. She's bold with it. This woman she's very intelligent. That's another way I fuck with. She's a very, but anyways, Rosa Clemente is a very wise woman. So just listen to her breaking it down, right? But then you have these black people that tells you that we can't be in solidarity with those in the diaspora because of the fact that it won't work, or because the idea of Pan-Africanism doesn't help out, but you still got Pan-Africanism that's being taught in colleges and university to this day. And you have Pan-Africanism that's being used as a networking tool for black people to come together and black people to work together. But let these folks tell it, Pan-Africanism doesn't work. Okay. Well, I just want to know, how does she even get connected with other blacks in the diaspora? I'm just saying. So you couldn't tell the sister what she is and what she ain't. She know what she talking about. Now, yes, she made it pass up as a Latino more than she did as a black person. That's because, as she mentioned, she didn't know any better. She wasn't taught that in her household. She had to learn that on her own when she got grown. That's how she had to learn. She had to learn that shit on her own. And like many of us, we want to talk about the importance of being African descended, but we say we African American or African this, they ain't other, but we wasn't taught the importance of being African. We was not taught the importance of being African descended. So, like somebody like her, she wasn't taught that important. She just knew that her parents are Puerto Rican and she grew up in a Spanish speaking household. But she didn't know anything about being African descendant until she started branching out on her own. And that's what it takes at times. It takes you to go out on your own to actually learn and know your culture and know your identity, know your ancestry, okay? And it's a lot more things that we have to cover when it comes to ancestry as well. It's a lot more things that we don't even know. All right. But if I was to build with somebody, I'd rather build with somebody like Rosa Clemente. I'll take Rosa Clemente over Cardi B. I'll take a Marilyn Negra over Cardi B. Cardi B couldn't tell me shit about being a black woman. She couldn't tell me nothing. She could not even express to me what the importance of being a black woman is. She couldn't say nothing to me about it. She couldn't. But somebody like Amerila Negra, yes. Somebody like Rosa Clemente, yes. I would definitely build with those two. Those two are like minded. But anyways, you guys, with that being said, that's all I have for today. All right. I won't take too much time speaking on this subject or be on this video, but I just want to put that out there for women history. So if you guys want to look up more information about the sister, just type in her name, Rosa Clemente. All right, look at her works, look at the lectures she has done. Very phenomenal woman. I give her credit. I give her the respects and props. Okay. But anyhow, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share the channel. Until next time, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off saying deuces. And I thank you guys so much for your support. And shout out to all the new subscribers out there. All right, then. Be safe until next time. Y'all have a good one.